let's go across now to another big newsmaker from another state where a remarkable victory has been pulled off. Thomas Isaac joins me. He's, well, I don't know, is or was finance minister of the Pinarayi Vijayan government. Perhaps back again as finance minister, Mr. Isaac. But congratulations, Mr.
Oh. No, wrong. I am not contesting the election.
No, I know you're not contesting, but that doesn't preempt the possibility of of finding a role for you. There are ways, but anyway, congratulations, because this whole idea that there must be a rotating of strike in Kerala, I think it's been broken after close to 4 decades. What would you say? If you would, I know there could be multiple reasons, but if you were to identify one key reason why you've been voted back, and voted back, by the way, quite emphatically, what would that be?
One single reason is good governance. The kind of development initiatives that Kerala has seen during the last 5 years. The COVID time, we were not stingy at all. We provided very substantial relief to the people. And at the same time, we didn't have to, say, cut down on our capital expenditure, because we mobilized funds outside the budget for special purpose vehicles for infrastructure spending. And the combination of the two, I think, was very much appreciated by the people. And the fact, by and large, there's been no any major allegation of corruption against ministers and so on. The good governance definitely was the most important reason.
Okay, so good governance, you say, Mr. Isaac, but the fact that there were all these different allegations made about, the gold smuggling scam and sort of even trying to draw the chief minister, his office into it.
Now, it's true, there was smuggling, and one of the players in the smuggling case was friendly with one of the key officers in the government. But other than that, there is nothing that links the government to smuggling here. In fact, Kerala accounts for only hardly about 15% of smuggling into India.
Right.
And this would be such a small incident that would have happened. And there was nothing that links it to the government. And we were trying to explain that. But the central government agencies were more interested not in finding who sent the gold and for whom it was intended for, but trying to make some evidence to link the chief minister's office to this case. And people just didn't buy that.
They didn't buy that.
The government is much higher.
In fact, I think that the state government or the assembly or the state government was actually trying to get a judicial inquiry ordered against central agencies. But Mr. Isaac, were you at all worried when the Prime Minister came, the BJP bringing all its big guns? He was even trying to kind of target the chief minister, saying like, Judas, you sold the state for a few pieces of gold, all of that. Did that at any point create any apprehension?
Absolutely not. BJP is a small player in Kerala. They peaked last election with 16% of the votes. But, by and large, they can't get any allies in Kerala. None of the mainstream parties would ever tie up with BJP because of the strong secular environment, the overall environment in the state. And therefore, there were not going to be any serious
In fact, I saw your tweet because the BJP just had one seat last time. I believe this is the Nemam seat, which falls in Trivandrum. And they've lost that as well to you, to the CPM. And you said they opened their account and now you closed it. Is that right?
And not only that, I've said that numbers are not fully available now, but their vote share would have declined by at least 2 or 3 percentage points. That's a big decline.
So that's a huge drop.
In fact, we were not worried about we were only worried about BJP switching their votes to UDF.
Right.
That, in fact, has been responsible for at least two key leaders losing the election. And the reason why there was such a big drop in BJP's share of the vote is because they experimented this in at least 24 places.
Right. Okay. But how would you evaluate what's happening with the Congress? Because the Congress didn't do very well last time either. I think they barely won 22 seats, which is one of their worst performances. Again, this time, not being able to put up a serious fight, even though Rahul Gandhi himself fights from Wayanad. What do you think is going on there?
The real reason is Congress took a total negative attitude towards the development efforts of the state. You can criticize the lapses, and you can put forward alternatives, but to make fun of it in the way that opposition leader has been going on day after day, people didn't like this, too much negativism. What is the positive agenda that you have? So on the eve of the election, they managed to bring out, not election, voting. About 2 weeks back, they were able to bring out a hodgepodge, poll promise list. But, on the whole, this negativism did not pay off well at all.
Okay.
I think this was the main reason.
Right. That was one. I just want to ask you in conclusion, because as someone who understands state finances well, one of the things I noticed that seems to have helped state governments, chief ministers retain power, whether it was in Kerala, whether it was in West Bengal or even Assam, is building a kind of cash transfer state where you have a basket of welfare schemes, but cash transfers are increasingly becoming an integral part. And when I was in Kerala, I saw a number of people talk about how you'd increase social pensions from, I think, 600 rupees to now it's, if I'm not mistaken, close to 1600 rupees. The chief minister also spoke about it in his speech. Is that something which you think is becoming quite important? I mean, apart from the benefits, the social benefits, politically, it's turning out to be quite a effective instrument.
Definitely, it is going to be having, I think, the experience. I think no political party can now turn its back on a kind of support for the poor.
Right.
Now, Kerala, the situation is a little more complicated.
Okay.
The Kerala has been growing at least 50% faster than national average for the last 3 decades.
Right.
And therefore, this has resulted in the emergence of a new middle class, which constitutes, I think, something like 30%.
Okay.
And rock bottom, there are 30% very poor people.
So they have to be reached out to.
Left base is mostly among these poor people.
Right.
At the same time, you have to take cognizance of this new middle class that has emerged.
Okay,
so
that's
the kind of income, transfer, relief, and so on
that
we're referring is mostly to this bottom 30%.
Okay, that's a very important point.
What about this next 30%, the middle class? For them, we have increased our investment in social infrastructure and physical infrastructure.
Okay, and that's how you're trying to.
Yeah, so it's a kind of bridging
the gap.
Classes, poor class. And the middle class.
Wonderful. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Isaac. Congratulations to you for that victory.